Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Muffins with Morgan. All right, so we're here and we're back. If you have never been here before, Muffins with Morgan is a special show. So we're going to be here for an hour. Yes, an hour. And what we're going to be doing is answering your burning sales questions, marketing questions, and if you also have them, some personal questions. Just don't get too personal, y'all, because don't get too crazy out here. So as we get into this, I know that there's like copyright out here, so I can't play my normal songs I typically would do. However, on this, I have a soundboard. I have a soundboard, and this song is pretty lit. So we're gonna put this on loop as people come in here. And as you all know, I like to understand where the audience is at. So tell us, where are you tuning in from? All right, where are you tuning in from? Where are you at? We always like to see that. So I'm just gonna put this right here. Where are you tuning in from if you didn't see it? And we're gonna play this on loop because this is, y'all hear this song? Hey, hey, yo, this is a good song. Hey, and I got the muffin. Some of y'all don't think we bring muffins. We actually bring muffins on the show. Y'all know what it is. We're back. So we're gonna have this on loop a little bit. Tell us where you're tuning in from, and then we're gonna hop right into the questions. But I don't know. I found this loop, and I was like, "This is the greatest loop of all time." Like, can you find a better loop than this? Like, what? Come on, y'all! Like, this is craziness. So hope everyone's having a blessed Friday. We'll let the chat roll. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Let's run the chat up. Like, share, comment. Let's get it out here. And then we're going to get right into your burning questions. And we're going to get into it. So we have a good amount of people here, though. We got a lot of people in the house. Shout out to Atlanta in the house. We got Austin in the house. Sacktown. London's always represented. Shout out to London. I always respect y'all. Y'all always show up because it's like happy hour at this point. It's time to get to the pub, and you're here. We appreciate you. Las Vegas. Shout out to Las Vegas. Houston. Denver. Boston. Who do we not have in the house? We have Estonia, Paris. Let's see. Lithuania. We have India in the house. I appreciate y'all that are international tuning in because you could be doing other things, but you're here and we appreciate you. So, as y'all tell us where you're tuning in from, let's get into what you're here for, which is the questions. But before we do that, we have a special announcement before we do that. It is time to answer your questions. Like I said, for an hour, we're going to be answering questions. I will also eat my muffin as well because I need to eat as well. I got some fuel to answer these questions. So any question you have in sales and marketing, also in personal, you can drop it in the chat. That's how we're going to start. And then we just let this flow. Keep it entertaining, keep it lively. If you have someone in the chat that's there, you also can say what's up to them as well. And as we get our questions in here, everyone's telling us where you're tuning in from. Shout out to Spain? Yeah, I need to go to Spain. Ibiza, Madrid, Barcelona. I need to go over there. Heard it's great stuff. Shout out to Phoenix, one of my favorite spots across the board. So, guys, put in your questions, or you all put in your questions, and we will see what's going on. It's really cool. Look at the chat overlay right here, right? So we got a lot of stuff going on, but I'm going to go into the questions. All right, y'all. So, look, we got the question already. We already have a question. Y'all are coming in hot with the questions. And by the way, when you put in your questions, I will make sure to go through every single one. If I don't get to one, I will answer you personally. Just give me some time to get back to it. But I just want to let y'all know I will get back to you. All right. So let's get into this here. This is the question. All right. So the question is, as you see, we have some challenging macro times. Yes, we do, which in a corporate environment has been impacting sales targets consistently for the past few months. Teams are burnt out. If they're not going 100%, I'll read this comment over here. So and they're saying and feeling like they're going 150, 200% just to get 90% of their target, how would you advise on motivating and enable people through this time? So this is a great question to start off with, and this is actually really good. We're actually going to show you some love here. Yo, I got these new tickers now. Hot question alert, yo. This is a good question. Like, this is a good question. All right, so let's dive into it. Right now, yes, it is a very hard time right now due to the macro and economic climate. There's a lot of things going on. 100% understand that. This is how I would enable your teams. This is how I would motivate your teams. For leaders, you can also add in your feedback as well in the chat. Would love to hear it. But this is how you need to be thinking about it. So the number one thing is, it's very similar to what I said when COVID was happening, is going to be in the same vein of what I'm going to describe here. Number one is, if you're able to do what you're doing now and at least get 90%, 100%, you are going to be equipped for the next 10 to 15 years to do whatever you want. Now, that may not be the answer that some of you are looking for, but I want you to empower your teams to be like, hey, like, this is a very incredibly hard time for sure. However, if we're able to find ways to grow, find ways to skill up, we will be equipped to be successful for the next 10 to 15 years. So I want you all to look from a long-term perspective instead of like what's happening right now. And everyone obviously has certain emotions and feelings of what's going on. I'm not discrediting that. And I also have like, whoa, what's going on as well. What I will tell you though is what keeps me motivated and what keeps me going and everything I'm doing and building, et cetera, is knowing, hey, if I'm able to do this right now, I'm going to be able to be a better mentor. I'm going to be a better sales rep, right? I'm going to be a better colleague, a better seller that was able to do it in these times. Because number two, what I would do is encourage your team, right? Encourage your team to think about ways to motivate yourself, right? So one of the things, right, is be like, hey, what can we be doing to learn more? Learn more about your buyer, right? I would be trying to figure out, how can we learn more about our buyers? How do we understand what they're about? And how do we continuously motivate them that way? So that's what I would think about as well. I think the third piece ultimately is, when you're thinking about everything that's going on, is continuously taking time for yourself to take those breaks and finding things that are escapisms. So I'm going to ask a question for you all. What are things that are escapisms? And I'll give you a reasoning behind that. An escapism is like playing video games or a hike, or maybe you go to the movies, something that gets you away from the work. And what I would recommend for you all to do is find what is an escapism that really captivates you, keeps you engaged, keeps you happy and fulfilled to some degree, so you're not only consumed by the work, because that will happen and it's hard. So I would encourage you all to think about, what is your escapisms, right, to feel happy, fulfilled, keep yourself motivated so that you're not always in the work. So I'm curious for you all, what are your escapisms that you have? So that was a great first question. Hopefully it was helpful, and we'll move on to the next one. And again, continue to put your questions in here. Hopefully the answer was helpful there. Let's get to the next one. All right. Boom. How do you break into an account that is using a competitor product? I'm assuming, Cheryl, that maybe you have some type of like research identification that tells you like this is the case. So that's really interesting. When I think about a competitor product, this is me, and I'm curious how everyone's feedback is. I'm not going to prospect them and say, hey, I noticed you're using this competitor. Here's why we're potentially better. That is something I typically recommend to not do, because you don't know why they invested into that product, right? I would just say it's good to know that you know that. And so what I would do is, however you're finding that they're using a competitor product, I would find more ways to find that. And then I would do my messaging around how you potentially have like an advantage without saying you're using a competitor, right? So if you know, hey, we're good at these 3 things better than this competitor, I would use that in the messaging, but I wouldn't say like, you're using this competitor, this is why we're better. I would just use the messaging of that value prop in the messaging, just to be like, hey, this is what we do to help. Because if you know what their deficiencies are, you can use that as the value prop for yourself. But again, you don't have to use that as again, you're not going to say, hey, I saw you using this software. Well, it's like, no, that's what you want to do as well. So that's the case. So you just want to think about how you want to be able to do that, how you want to be able to go on, how you want to go on that as well. And then you can just go from there. Right. So that's the case. Hopefully, Cheryl, that's helpful. Let me know. And that's a way that you can go into it as well. So, all right, y'all. Let's continue to go in these questions. Someone's telling me that the feed isn't on LinkedIn. Can you also hear me on LinkedIn? Trying to make sure we're good. I know LinkedIn sometimes is wild season. So can we still hear everybody on LinkedIn, streaming on multiple platforms here, making sure that we're good? But we're going to continue to go and answer these questions here. So let's see. COVID. No, platforms, COVID. Okay, cool. So looks like this next one that we have is from Rob here. All right, cool. We're good on LinkedIn. All right, so everyone's saying LinkedIn's working. Someone was telling me we weren't. Someone was it wasn't working, but okay, we're good. All right. So Rob, question. All right, this is a good question, y'all. This is a good question. So starting off new in AE role. What are the 3 things you need to do to set yourself for success? Good question, y'all. Who's an AE in here? Put a 1 if you're an AE, or you're managing AEs. Put a 1 in here. Would love to see where everyone's at across the board. I'm gonna eat my muffin real quick. Oh. Put a 1 if you're an AE. Put a 2 if you're managing AEs. We'd like to hear that. But here's the thing. When you're starting on the role as an AE, 3 things. Number 1, y'all hear me talk about this a lot, is time management. So what I would do right now, right, is I'd be like, okay, I need to figure out what my time management is going to be. So I'd be like, wake up in the morning or the day before, whatever, and be like, okay, I got an hour to go prospect. I have an hour and a half to do LinkedIn Sales Navigator, right? There's a lot of things across the board that you can do. So again, what I would recommend, right, in doing is finding ways to manage your time with your prospecting, and then also managing your time with the deals that you close, right? That's going to be the key to make sure that this works, right? So when you wake up, right, get into the ring, you're like, cool, okay, I know how to make sure, right, that I know what to prospect, I know what I'm doing, right, and you're not getting lost, right? You don't want to get lost in the sauce, all right? You don't want to be like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. Someone invited me to the calendar invite, right? Someone's like, hey, can you hop in the meeting for an hour? And you're like, yo, like literally this is a waste of my time. You don't want that. You got a time block and be like, yo, look, great, but I can't be there. Here are the reasons why. All right. So ultimately, this is the way. Time block your calendar, figure that out, do it the night before, wake up early. I don't really care. Time block. That's number 1. Number 2, this is critical. This isn't talked about enough. I'm going to keep beating my drum about this. I'm going to keep yelling about it, right? The kids even like this advice. The kids are cheering. Y'all remember the kids, right? The kids are cheering about this one. That's when you know it's a good tip. So number 2 is you have to make sure that you are studying, talking, and listening to your customers. Most sales reps don't do that. It's just like, oh, well, I have the script. They told me to do this. Here it is. Let's go. And it's like, no, like you have to talk to these buyers. You got to listen to them, listen to the podcast, read whatever you have to read to understand what do they get excited about? What are the pain points? These are things, again, that we just don't talk about enough. So if you are getting right in that AE role, study the buyers, because you're going to be able to ask more thoughtful questions. You're going to be more credible, and people will be like, wow, this person is legitimately experienced, right? Like experienced, like this makes a lot of sense. I should probably continuously talk to this person, right? So that's what you want to do there in terms of the time blocking, and then what you want to do there in terms of the customers. Now, the third piece here as an account executive goes in part 2. So you're going to be able to close deals by the questions that you ask. So what I would do is, okay, you write down your pain points, right? You write down what they care about. You've time blocked. Now you're going to write down what are questions you should be asking to uncover pain, to uncover urgency, to then drive urgency. So as an account executive, you want to know, what are my questions? What should I be focused on? What am I doing that ultimately will lead to my success, right? And that will get there. So what are the 3 things we talked about? Let's go back here, right? Because like,
damn, son, where'd you find this?
Let me run that back one more time.
Damn, son, where'd you
find
this?
That? So 3 things: time management, right? So write that part down. Number 2 is study the buyer. Go hang out with them. I don't know. Do whatever you got to do. Listen to them. Number 3 is writing questions that will be relevant to the buyer so you can uncover pain points, uncover urgency, drive urgency, etc. So, Rob, hopefully that was helpful. Let us know in the chat as well. So, we got people all across the board here today. Hopefully this has been helpful so far. And that's the 3 things. That's like literally the 3 things. So, that's what I would do. All right, y'all. I mean, the sound effects, y'all. I got a lot of these. Like, it's gonna be like,
damn, son, where'd you find this?
Like, I got a lot of these. I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started with these sound effects. All right, give me a minute, y'all. I'm gonna find some more questions. These have been really good questions so far, and we got some really good people coming in, showing some love. I appreciate y'all. Let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. What is the first thing that takes an SDR to the next level? Omar, I see your question before, and Chantilly as well. I'm going to get back to you all. I'm just scrolling back up, so give me some time. All right. What's the first thing that takes an SDR to the next level? This is going to shock y'all. Are y'all ready? This is going to shock y'all. It's curiosity. Here's why, though. It might not be what you think. When you think of curiosity, right, ultimately what we're looking at is you are just focused on bringing the best questions to the table. If you are curious as an SDR, guess what? You're going to ask your manager great questions. If you're curious as an SDR, you're going to ask account executives great questions to get promoted if that's where you want to go. If you're curious, you're going to go ask customers great questions when you go talk to customer success so you can be a better SDR. You're also going to ask better questions to customers, which will uncover pain points so you can convert more on your cold calls. So what is going to take them to the next level is genuinely caring and taking accountability of this role and being like, I'm going to be great. And then ultimately being more curious. That is what is going to take any SDR to the next level. So Parker, write that down, tell your team, talk to your managers. I don't care what you have to do. That is going to take you to that next level that you're looking for. And then I'm going to bring it back. It's just that's it. So boom, Parker, let us know if that's helpful. And for SDRs in the room, if that was helpful, put a 2 in the chat because I want to know. All right, next question here. And I'm going to scroll down, see if anyone's talking. Cool. So we got some people saying they're loving it so far. That's amazing. This guy. Hey, look, man, I got sounds for days. Like, hang tight. I got every sound you could probably think of. So just know that. Empathy is key. Appreciate that. Parker loved it. Appreciate it, man. Hopefully that's helpful to you. Nicholas said he loved it. Cameron said Cameron said she loved it. Who we got here? Parker loved it. Emily loved it. Marissa loved it. Jay Shane's a cool name. That's a really good name. If you did an intro like, yo, my name's Jay Shane, I'm just trying to give you a tip there. I don't have a cool name like Jay Shane, so I can't win. So you're killing it. All right, so a lot of 2s. I want to hear from y'all. Y'all actually do what I'm talking about, though. Don't be like, oh, 2, this is great, Morgan. Like, let's actually get to it. This is the difference in this show. We get to it. We take action. We get results. So here's the next thing. What's the most important part of your LinkedIn when applying as a new SDR? So you're trying to get. Are you still in the room? So you're trying to get a new job, and you're trying to figure out, how do I stand out? Here's what you're at. I'm going to give you a question that, like, you're not like you know. I'm gonna answer in a way you asked the question, but I'm gonna give you a different route. Your LinkedIn, cool. What I would tell you, I'm gonna give you the basic answer here. Make sure that you have some, credentials, like some stuff you've worked on, things that are impactful. But this is not actually the most important part. It's a part of it. But if you're trying to get an SDR job, let's say that you recently got laid off, and if you've been laid off recently, my heart goes out to you. I know it's a very hard time right now, but if you're looking for a new job and you're on this right now, you listen to the replay, this is exactly what I do. I guarantee you it will get you a new job if you just follow my advice. Now, if you decide to go rogue and don't do it, I can't help you. But if you actually do this, you'll get some results. So here's the thing. If you're thinking about getting into a sales role, you should probably do sales to get your sales role, right? You should probably do sales to get your sales role, right? Even the kids even know this. The kids are even fired up. They're like, yeah, Morgan, that makes a lot of sense. So if the kids are fired up, you should probably listen. So
what I would do is I would go look at the job career page. On the career page, they have something in the role called responsibilities or things you would do. I'm telling you, most people don't do this. Things you're going to do, right? So you're going to look at it, right? And then you're going to be like, okay, wait, they're looking for these like 3 to 5 things. Awesome. So you're going to write them down. So you can do 2 things. You can write an email or you can send a video. Don't really care. Depends on you. So what I would do, I would screen share the video showing the job role and say, hey, reason I'm reaching out to you, leader, manager, whoever, I was looking at the job page. These are 3 things that you said you wanted in the role. Here's how my life experience applies to these 3 things and why I think I could be your new SDR. Do y'all know how many people do not do this? Like, if you're a manager right now, have y'all ever gotten that before? Like a leader, can we get some leaders in the house here to talk to the people real quick? Has anyone ever received a video like that? And if you were to get a video or email like that, would you not respond in 3 seconds being like, I need to hire this person? Regardless of their experience, you probably are going to give them an interview, I think, unless like you have a different criteria that I don't understand and I don't know about. But for the most part, you're most likely going to be like, wow, this person's elite. I probably got to interview them at least. So the thing is, see, look, okay, check. Look at this. No one ever. Nope. No one follows this advice. I'm giving you advice to get a job. So like, if you want a job, this is all you have to do because no one does this. And so guess what? They're going to be like, we have to get this person immediately. We got to talk to this person. So look, that's what I would do if I'm applying for an SDR. Your LinkedIn plays a part, but what I just told you is way better and will get you a legit meeting for an interview. So there we go. And the kids are excited. All right, let's go back. We got a lot of stuff in here. Look, y'all, we are cruising right now. We got some really great questions. I'm excited to be back. Who's excited that this is back? Who's excited that it's back? Let us know. Are you excited this is back? I'm actually fired up. I'm lit. like, let's go, right? I'm excited this is back. I'm excited y'all are back. We're gonna keep this going for quite some time. But as y'all let us know if you're excited about this back or you're not. Maybe you're like, Morgan, I didn't want this back. I don't care about this. But we are going to answer more questions while you decide what you want to answer. And guys, I got to go back. So if you're dropping questions in here, I'm gonna let you know. I will get to ones I did not get to. A quick one: do you use all those platforms that you recommend on Twitter? Omar, I think you're talking about my tech stack. I'll answer that really quickly. For the most part, yes. Has it ebbed and flowed since that has been tweeted? For sure. But I use the majority of platforms I have, like Lavender. Like I use a lot of tools, a lot. But that's because I've been in tech for quite some time, and like I'm just the person that likes tools, and I learned how to integrate in my process without being annoying. When COVID was happening, so should emails include these trying times? Trying times, yeah. Anything like hope you're staying safe. I always tell people you probably should stay away from that. All right, Matt's good question here. I'm building out a brand new segment of our sales team here at Crystal. What I've implemented so far seems to be working pretty well, but what are a few things that you would personally do if you were building an SDR team from the ground up? Also, got to get your Crystal license. All right, cool. So my boy Matt coming in here with a great question. Before that, let's just see what's going on. Actually, Matt, we got to show some love to some people, right, that are already excited. We got Cynthia in the house. Shout out to Cynthia. Guess what? The kids are excited you're here as well. So thank you. And we got Daryl in the house. The kids are also excited that you're here. And then we have a fire emoji. Denise, hope I'm saying that right. You're in the house. We got Lauren in the house, right? We got Rob in the house. I'm going to try to go to shout outs here. We got Michelle in the house, right? So glad everyone's enjoying it so far. But what we're going to do is we're going to scroll back up and we're going to get back to that question. So the question essentially that we're looking to answer here, right, is 3 things. I put those 3 things because it always sounds like you're doing well. So massive shout out to you for doing your thing and doing it well. We love that. What I would tell you is, number 1, I don't know if y'all are doing this, by the way, what I'm about to say, I would actually love to hear the breakdown. What I would recommend people do to level your team up is giving them a report card. No, this is not like school. Some of you are already like, oh, Morgan's talking about school. I'm going to tune out now. No, like, listen. So the whole thing is the report card is important because I need to know where my team is at skill wise. So SDRs, right? What are the main skills that SDR has? 1, emailing. 2, cold calling, right? 3, video prospecting. 4, you have, a lot of things, right? Time management, right? Social selling, etc. Right? I can keep going on. What I would do is I'd be like, hey, we got all these different skills, right, across the board, right? And we're gonna look at these. And the whole thing is, right, we're gonna grade that. The self-assessment, they can do that. What you're now gonna do is you're gonna collect the data and be like, oh, well, okay, I got a rep here who's A+ at emails. Phenomenal. I have another person who's like A+ in cold calling. Phenomenal. I got an A++ in video prospecting. That's pretty lit. Why is all this important? The reason it's important is because now I have people who can do peer coaching if they want to. They can do peer coaching. So now instead of you having to coach everything, you can be like, oh, we have an A+ email person. Okay, that person is going to run a training internally for our team. We got a video person. You're going to do training internally for our team. Now, again, you can always bring someone like me in or all the people on the platform. That's fine. However, your rep internally is going to know the product better than anyone, right? And if they're already seeing success, reps are going to be like, they're going to want to do it because they don't want to get beat out. They're going to be competitive and be like, well, if that person's doing it, I got to go do this now. So that's like the whole thing that you want to be able to look at the end of the day to then inevitably, be successful, right? So that's like the way I would do that. And let's see here. Omar. Yeah, I cannot fix the lagging. I can't do anything about that. We got to go to LinkedIn. We got to go figure it out. We'll talk to them. We'll figure it out though. But we're going to continue on. Number 2. So you have the peer coaching that's being implemented. That's amazing. The other thing that I would do is something I used to do called King of the Hill. King of the Hill. Yep. King of the Hill. So not like the TV show, but you'll see where I'm going. So whatever sales engagement tool that you use, I know there's a lot of them out there. There's Groove, there's Outreach, Sales Off, Reply.io. I know there's a lot, right? So what you're looking to do here is you're going to be like, hey guys, or hey all, like, let's get in a room or a virtual room because we can't offices, virtual room. And we're going to look at our campaigns. Who has the best first email? Who has the best second email? Who has the best third email? And you're going to grade it along the way. So each rep might have a different statistic. Oh, wow, this first email is fire. This has like a 10% reply rate. So now guess what? Everyone on your team is going to use that moving forward. Now we just leveled up. Second one. Oh, okay, it was a different rep. They got a 20% reply rate. What the heck? Why? We analyzed, we figured out. Now we put that in part of our campaign. The thing is with sales development is that you can always take pieces across the board, and it's not like cheating. It's just like, oh, okay, you use that, it worked. We're going to use it. We're going to move on. So that's what I want you to think about, y'all. Like when you're building your team, like you could just use that to be like, okay, let's check it every month. Let's see what we're doing. Let's see how it can be successful. The third thing is I would just find ways to continuously improve and increase the connectivity of the team. People call it culture. People call it it doesn't really matter. I just call it connectivity. And that could be like, what are their personal goals? How are you being a better manager, leader, one-on-one? Do you know where they're going to? How are you helping them activate themselves to get to that level? That's how you're going to build a strong connective tissue. You're seeing a lot of people right now, either they're getting laid off or they're leaving. It's due to their leaders. Most leaders are not showing empathy. They're not diving into their teams. They don't even know what their teams are trying to do. How is that helpful? It's not. So what we want to be able to do here is get in our teams and understand what's going on so we can give them the right things across the board. So hopefully that helped answer the question for enablement and managers. Hopefully you can use that as well, because that is how I would go about it. Now, y'all, we are now at the halftime alert. The halftime alert. And when it's the halftime alert, I just got to know. I got to know how everyone is feeling, right? We got YouTube in here. We got LinkedIn. We got other places. I just want to know how people are feeling. And it's a simple question. Has this been impactful for you so far, right? Has this been impactful for you so far? If it has, let us know in the chat. But I just got to know, has this been impactful? Put in the chat. Let us know what's going on. And we're going to get right back into the questions, but we got our halftime alert, y'all. So we got to know what's going on. And again, we like to hear what's happening across the board. And I gotta some water. Make sure to share, tell a friend, like it, tell a friend, like this stream. Give it some comments, give it some love so we can see what's going on. We obviously love to see that across the board. But yeah, we're getting excited. We don't want any mishaps. So looks like all right, cool. So we got impactful. We got heck yeah, huge, totally. Dennis got to run. See ya. Tyler, catch it 1 a month. Appreciate you, Jay Shane. Looking forward to more. Again, hopefully I'm just see the feedback. Let the feedback roll in here. Lauren, I appreciate it. I guess I gotta be locked in because 6 months. I gotta be locked. We gotta get it. All right, cool. So we got a lot of people loving it so far. Just let us know in the chat what's happening. If you are enjoying this so far, let us know. All right, if it's been impactful. So that's the halftime alert, y'all. Let's get back to the questions. And if you have anything that you always want to share when I'm answering a question, feel free to put in the chat. Like I'm answering them, but you can answer them as well in the chat and join the conversation. So look, I told y'all I'm going through all your questions. So I got to scroll back up and I got to make sure that I didn't miss anything, right? Because there's some questions that are pretty in depth, but I want to make sure, right, that we're good. All right. So Matt, we nailed that. Matt, hopefully that was helpful for you. Don't know. You asked that earlier, so you might have bounced, but it's all good. All right, so all right, so this question's a little bit longer than I could put on the screen, but I'll read it out. I'm in marketing and we're really good at what we do. Amazing. The struggle is getting into tier 1 accounts that either have an internal agency or an agency of record. We tend to mind the gap and fill in where internal teams can't, or where agencies of record become complacent or fall short. I want a bigger piece of the pie and earn more tier 1 clients, but those 2 hurdles are tough to overcome to begin new work. All right, so a lot of piece. I would say this is very situational, right? Because each person would probably have a reason on why they're doing some type of inner work or with an agency or whatever that may be. I'm going to give a very simple answer without knowing all the facts. Unless you're still on here, Cody, we could dive into it deeper, but because it requires just some other understanding. But this is what I would give you. So when you are thinking about like, okay, we have people who are giving us this common objection. How do we get around it? My answer is going to be very, very like simple and like very foundational. It's not really going to be kind of like earth shattering here. It's just going to be like, think about your customer stories, right? If you think about your customer stories, that shall allow you to then go ahead and sell what you're looking to sell. So if you're like really struggling and you're trying to figure out like, okay, y'all, I don't really know how to like get in front of these new clients. Like I'm getting messed up. There has to be one scenario, and if there's not, then the answer kind of is null and void. But there's a scenario where someone has converted, right? They had an internal agency, they had internal operations, and they went over to you. So I would try to find out, okay, what were the reasons that happened? I would run a customer analysis. What was the before? Why did they implement you, and why did they get rid of X thing? And then what was the after result? Once you find those results, then now everything that you do in your messaging, your customer stories, your selling should be centered around that, because now you're going to run the traditional feel, felt, found. I tell people don't exactly run the feel, felt, found, because then an executive is going to be like, what are you doing? And then you're just going to be like, right? It's not going to be good for you. So you want to make sure that you don't just say feel, felt, found. Some of you may ask in your head, okay, Morgan, what do I say? You could say, hey, we've noticed we've noticed a situation like this before, and typically in this situation we uncover that these are the problems that they are facing because they have internal agency, and we have identified, or we have like done that thing, and then we can go into it, right? So that's the way you can go about it, right? So it's just like changing the words of feel, felt, found. You could obviously just say feel, felt, found, completely up to you, but in this scenario, that's what I would do. Talk to current customers you have that solve this obstacle or problem for, and then now that you like, let's actually move forward and then like use that as part of the sales cycle, right? Moving forward. So that's how I'll go on that without knowing all of the details, but that's that case there. I'm going back. All right, cool. That was that question. Angel, let me know if you still want me to answer your question. I kind of pseudo answered it when I said like the curiosity. I guess I could answer. I guess, you know what? I'll kind of go into the two more things here, because I went into AE, but as an SDR as well. So when you're thinking about this, right, it's really about like, okay, 3 things you want to do to start performing. What are they? Right? What I would recommend on top of curiosity, the second thing is I would start getting very, very comfortable with cold calling. Now, some of you may be upset. Who's still here cold calls? Anybody cold calling? Or maybe you hate cold calling. Maybe you're like, Morgan, I think it's dying. So I'm actually curious. Let's uncover something here, right? If you think cold calling is dying, put 1 in the chat. If you think cold calling is relevant still, put a 2 in the chat. I'm curious before I answer this question. What are we going to uncover here? I cold call. Lauren's cold calling. So we like that. All right. What else? Some people are like, they think it's over. They think it's a wrap. So, okay, we have people who are still calling here. I just want to just check because people told me it's dying. People told me that it's dead. No one's doing it. So, all right, cool. So we gotta mix cold calls for the win. Some people think it's dying. Okay, we got a lot of different pieces here. All right, so let's like navigate this, right? Let's talk about this. So here's why I'm saying this, right? Is that here it is. Here we go. Boom. Lauren just answered the question. I don't even have to say anything. All right. So the kids like that when the question is answered and we don't even really have to do too much, right? So cold calling gets you comfortable with the uncomfortable and gets you outside of your comfort zone. Most people right now that are starting off as SDRs are Gen Zs and millennials. I am also a millennial as well. We typically do not like to pick up the phone and actually use it for what it's supposed to be used for, which is to call people. So that means less people are picking up the phone to call. Now, I do know, right? Apple's got like the spam risk, right? We got upgraded AI that can do those numbers. I understand that. What I'm also telling you is if you want to perform, you have to be calling because guess what? What are you doing if you're not just sending emails in LinkedIn? You are losing an avenue that potentially could get you conversion. Now, there's things out there that you could use like an Orem, right? That like allows you to do speed dials, etc. And it's a power dialer. That's even better. My whole point is if you're able to call somebody, deal with that uncomfortable situation and be able to handle objections and talk on the phone, you will be better than most reps. Because most reps are just like, well, okay, I'm just gonna sit here and send out my 100 emails, and then I'll send out my 100 spam LinkedIn invitations, and then I'll ask people, hope all is well. I'll tell them I'm the leading provider, and then I'll ask for 30 minutes, and I think I'll schedule some meetings. No, that's not going to work. So that's what I'm telling y'all. This is your competition. That's what people are doing. I get them all the time. Executives get them all the time. Leaders get it all the time. This is not what you want to do. This is not the way. So I would say calling can be a superpower because most people are not doing it. And it is an advantage. If you get people on the phone and you learn how to talk, guess what? Yeah, you're going to be better when you become an AE because you can't just not talk when you're an AE. You're going to have to be actually doing there. And some of y'all, yes, the voice is back. The Ernie voice is back. We're back. Incoming in your Ernie voice. No, it had to come out for that one because y'all knew what it was. I was just like, no, we're just not going to do that. All right. So I'm kidding. We're going to take away the voice for now, but that is the Ernie voice. You never know when it's going to come out, but that's like the case. Like that's what's happening. So we just don't want that. Just don't do that, y'all. Don't be that person. So number 2 is cold calling. And then that's the main thing. And then I would say like number 3, if you are an SDR right now and you want to be a top performer, I would get really good. And it also depends on certain places, but I would get really good at Sales Navigator. I might do some Sales Navigator things. So if y'all are interested in some Sales Navigator mini workshops, let me know. I can do them on Muffins. We've done it before. A lot of people got a lot of benefit out of it. So I'm always wanting to bring those back if people actually want it. If you don't want it, then I will not do it. But the whole thing is like, yeah, like when you're thinking about this piece, right? It's really important that you understand Sales Navigator because you're able to find low-hanging fruit. They just added a crazy feature the other day that I'm going to drop a video on here soon that you can see who's looked at your profile in the past 90 days and you can filter by geography, connections, industry, I don't think y'all understand how insane that is. People have viewed your profile. Like, think about this. I want y'all to think about this. People have viewed your profile in the past 90 days. In the past 90 days. And you can filter it? Y'all, are you kidding? Like, my brain, like, y'all seem like my brain's about to explode. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life, right? Like,
It's over 9,000.
like it's crazy. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna talk about that if y'all are interested, but only if enough people are interested. If only like one person's interested, that doesn't really matter. I'm just kidding. I would still do it, but that's the important part, right? So those are the three things. Angela, let me know if that's helpful as well. So y'all, we got about 15 minutes left here. About like, I don't know, 18 minutes left. Hopefully everyone's good on LinkedIn. People tell me it's laggy, it's all over the place. Hopefully y'all can still hear me. LinkedIn does get, can get a little odd sometimes on the live, but we are here. And look, I'm going back up to the question. So if you ask the question and it didn't get answered and you want to put it back in the chat to kind of refresh it, that's helpful because I have to scroll all the way back up to do that. So there's that. Okay. This is a really good question. So we got some really good stuff here. I just kind of want to show some answers here. Time management plus learn the buyer plus compile relevant questions equals fire. Rob, you should like tweet that or do a LinkedIn post on that after this. This is a good post. I'm just trying to let you know right now. All right. So we got Travis in here saying, hey, time management, study the buyer, right question related to your buyer. Like, this is a good post as well. I mean, same thing, but y'all know what I'm saying. Okay. So LinkedIn's buggy. It just says LinkedIn. I don't know who asked this question, but any tips on how to make cold calling meetings more sticky? Y'all, okay. This tip I'm about to give will probably get you like a 95% hold rate. You know what? I'm gonna ante it. 99.99% hand sanitizer. Your meetings will stick if you follow this. I can't give you 100% because then they might try to cancel me, and I'm like, we don't want that. I just got back. We don't want to get canceled yet. But here's the thing. Cold calling is hard, right? It's not easy. It's difficult. People ignore you. La 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 la. So when you think about this, there's a process. Now, Cynthia is already onto it. She's already onto it, but that's a part of the process as well. Hold up, we got someone in the house, y'all. We gotta hold on. We gotta adjust the sound. We gotta make sure that he feels welcomed here. So hold up. Dean's in the house. Ding's in the house. Show love the Ding. Ding, what's happening, man? Love seeing you being consistent. Love your content. Good stuff. Anyways, so this is a tiki cup. So pardon the interruption for this ad, this tiki cup. No, I'm just kidding. It is a tiki cup. So where is this tiki cup from? You'll notice, right? It's Star Wars. So I got this cup from the Katina. Oh, I can't even talk. The Katina band, you know what it is. So I went there and they served the drinks. And one of the souvenirs is this cup. And I was like, I'm going to take this cup. This cup is legendary. So yes, this is the cup from Star Wars. I went to there in Disney World. Good time. Got a cup. Got a couple of drinks. Was good. We had a good time. It was a good vibe. But what's more important is this. How do you make sure that these meetings land? How are they more sticky? So I'm going to ask you all first because, before I answer something, we have to make sure that this is relevant. Because I don't want to answer something that's like, I was like, okay, Morgan, I already know this, whatever, right? So in the chat, put cold. Put cold in the chat. If you struggle with landing your cold calling meetings, you're like, oh, Morgan, I struggle with this. This is like not for me. This is like not it. Put a 3 in the chat if you struggle with landing your cold calling meetings. They're not as sticky or whatever that may be. Put a 3 in the chat. I just want to see where people stand on this. And I will answer the question. This process is pretty thorough. You have to follow it. Can't just wing it. But if you do it, it's a game changer. It's pretty good. It's pretty legit. So we'll see 3's coming in a minute. This is what I will say. When you cold call somebody, right, it's out of the blue, right? They're not ready for it.
they're like confused. They're like, I don't know what's going on. It's like madness. They're like, I don't understand, right? So we have to lock them down. And so before I do that, blueberry muffin is what mine is. I'm blueberry today. Banana nut, I like banana. I like banana nut as well, but I'm on blueberry vibes. Blueberry vibes are good. So, and this is the Costco muffins because they're massive, so I can't even eat them in the whole stream. Otherwise, I'm not going to answer the question. But let's get to the question. Okay, so you cold call somebody. This is the first thing that you're going to do. So you're on the call, right? So we're gonna do it. Call someone, bring, right? I spit my thing. They're like, yo, you got value. We want to meet. You know, what's up? What's going on? All right, cool. They're vibing. So before you hang up the phone, this is the biggest mistake. The biggest mistake that SDRs make, account executives make, salespeople make. They hang up the phone and then they send the calendar invite. You need to do this all in one motion. So this is exactly how you need to say it. I will say it again because you don't want to mess this up. I say, hey, I'm going to send you before we hang up the phone, I'm going to send you a calendar invite for next Tuesday at 3:00. Could you please accept the calendar invite before we leave here? The reason for that is because I want to make sure my invite doesn't go to spam. Like hopefully y'all like.
Damn, son, where'd you find
I
this?
hope y'all heard that one. Let me go back. Let me reverse. So they said, I'm interested. I want to meet with you. Great. You're excited. So before you get too excited, you're going to say, hey, I'm going to send you a calendar invite for next Tuesday at 3:00. And could you please accept the calendar invite before you hang up the phone? The reason for that, because I want to make sure that this invite does not go to spam. That's it, y'all. That and why does that work? There's a deeper reason. It sounds cool, but there's a reason. So there's a psychological confirmation that happens subconsciously. Because now you're here, they're saying, yes, I hear you. I'm gonna go accept it. So now you're getting confirmation before you even in the sales cycle. You're getting confirmation that they potentially are going to show up here. So now that they've accepted it, you're good to go. Second step is, depending on how far out it is, that is a variable. But let's just say the meeting is next Tuesday, like we said. 24 hours before the meeting. So Monday morning, you're going to send an email and you're going to CC if you're an SDR. But if you're an account executive, then you don't do this. But you're going to CC the account executive if you're an SDR. If you're an AE, then you can do whatever you want. And you're going to tell them, hey, looking forward to our meeting tomorrow. Here's the agenda that we have. What exactly are you looking to cover for tomorrow? What does that do? That shows you're prepared. It shows you're buttoned up. It shows you're professional and you're not a slouch. So people most likely are going to be like, wow, okay, I'm going to feel terrible, right, if I do not show up to this meeting, right? I got to show up. It's not going to be good, right? So once you're able to do that, right, then they most likely will show up. Now, there's a third step that you could take. You could also send a reminder that day. I find that to be a little bit too much. I've done it before and I didn't really like it. So what I do is on the call, I confirm, collect the invite, they accept. 24 hours before, I send an agenda. Typically, they show up. That's how you land and make them more sticky. So was that helpful? Was that helpful for the people that put the threes? Let me know if that was helpful. Like, we just want to know. We just want to know. So, and I couldn't even say it, but I do have the soundboard for the Katina band. So they're happy I actually answered that right. But yes, that's the key thing is where key thing there as well, right? You want to make sure that you're doing that and remaining consistent. Great idea. Thank you. I'm glad you thought it was a great idea. Hopefully you go and use it. I would love to see that, right? As well. So we got 10 minutes in, but before we do get out of here, for those of you who are still hanging tight with us, for those of you who may even check the replay as well, if you didn't know, I have a newsletter. Did y'all know that? Yes or no in the chat? Did you know I have a newsletter? So I do have a newsletter. It is called The Commish. And if you want to go subscribe, link in bio. No, it actually is in my bio on my LinkedIn profile. So go read my profile, go subscribe to it. I get even deeper into tips. And I even share some even personal gems that you can take as well that are outside of sales on what I'm doing to continuously remain focused, remain locked in as well. Speaking of locked in, I saw a funny chat. Yo, Brian, what's good? I saw Brian, you slipped in the chat. Hold on, you still here? Hey, Brian in the house. We got to show you some love. Okay, so I'm looking for this comment because it made me laugh. Well, we got to go find it. But the thing is, to answer, I think it was Rob. I think he put this around like, how are you going to be able to? Okay, does Leak have the benefit for all this energy? I don't know, man. I don't know. Clear the lag, maybe not. Kevin, shout out. What's up? What's happening, man? I just saw you hop in. Don't know if you're still here, but what's good? I'm going through some questions. Again, if I miss a question and you're here, throw it in the chat. Sometimes, we try to get through all of them we can, but I'm looking through to make sure that I've answered the ones that need to be answered. Okay, so I actually found the next question, so we're good. So we've been tracking so far. Boom. Actually, okay, I see there's like two kind of questions next to each other. So I see the other one about the advice on the SDRs who want to do more research. So I'll go into that. Any tips to pull yourself out of what feels like a sales slump, a few months of missing quota, and getting back track as an SDR? So the best thing for you to do is analyze your data. 2, go learn something new. So 1, in analyzing your data, you need to take a step back. Like, okay, this month is not the best, or these few months have not been the best. Also, please understand that sales, highs and lows, cyclical, like the stock market, just like life. Some 2 months might be terrible. Next 3 months might be phenomenal. So know that like there obviously are going to be the highs and lows. Obviously, if it starts being way more consistent, then you need to analyze a little bit more. But that's just the name of the game sometimes. It's just going to be highs and lows. And you have to keep a steady mindset. So I'm kind of dating myself. But first video I ever did, YouTube channel called the SDR Chronicles. If you haven't ever seen that YouTube channel, it's how I started creating content. It's how I've gotten to where I'm at today, was started creating content. And the first video is keeping a steady mindset. It's the reason for that is because none of this matters if you don't have a steady mindset. You could be the most skilled person, but if your mindset's all over the place, you're not going to be successful. It's just the way that it is. You just won't. So be very intentional and thoughtful about how you go about this. So analyze your data, see what's going right, see what's going wrong. Typically, it's just a scenario of, oh, I was doing that in that month, and then I stopped, and I need to do it again. Or, okay, I'm trying to do too many things, and I realize I need to stick to what works. Analyze your data, and then second is finding new ideas, because you want to find new inspirations to get you motivated again, to get you excited. So maybe you go talk to a rep, right? Report card, remember, that's an A+ an email. Maybe you're a C. Maybe you can go learn some new information there. Maybe you're like, you know what, I could get better at cold calling, and maybe you can do some mock cold calls and learn from someone who's a better cold caller. These are little things you can do to get better and enhance yourself. So Olivia, that's what I would say that you can do to get that going. And then also as well, y'all can let me know if that was helpful. Okay, quick, what advice would you give SDRs who want to do more research on the prospects, but their manager and insisting they focus on KPIs? Okay, I was just talking about some of this the other day. It's actually really important that we actually bring this up here. Okay, cool. So we got some people in the chat. Okay, actually, Cameron, I'll answer this before I do this. What about when you confirm the meeting on the call, but they still no-show? What's the best next step? So the best next step at that point is you can call them again, right? So you can do that. Or you can send them a video to reconfirm, to get them back on. You can do that as well. And what you also can do is you could do a strip line email, but that's like when that's like kind of when they like no-showed you or rescheduled like a couple times. So it's like 2-3 times where it's like, okay, like we need to like basically be like, hey, like you like you've no-showed us twice. I mean, there's better language on this, but I'm giving you an example. You've no-showed us twice. Because you've no-showed us twice, right? Here's why, this isn't helpful for you. Based because it's not helpful for you or for both of us. You need to let us know if you don't want to move forward, right? So you're basically doing a strip line email if that's the case, but you really don't have to worry about that. If they don't confirm, it's just as simple as calling them, sending a video, asking when they can reschedule. You can even do a proposed calendar invite if you want to. That's not bad to do, a blind proposed calendar invite, because they've already accepted they wanted to meet, so it's okay. I don't recommend doing blind ones without any context, but proposed calendar invites when they've already accepted is okay, because maybe they're just all over the place and they need to put the time on the calendar. Those are things that I would do. Now let's get to this. Is any? I don't recommend it. Like, look, I don't. I'm not a huge fan of forcing people to do KPIs. That's me. Everyone is different. But this is how you handle this. You are going to run your own case study. We're going to have some fun. You're going to run a case study. Now, what does that look like? What you're going to do? All right. Hopefully, y'all listen. Hopefully, y'all listen to this one. Y'all tuning in, right? Like, we're gonna get some nuggets here. You're gonna do what your manager tells you to do, right? I'm not gonna tell you don't do what your manager does, because people are gonna come after me like, yo, Morgan told me to do this and I'm going rogue and I don't care. Like, well, I don't care anymore. Don't do that. All right. Like, don't do that. But what are we going to do? Right? Like, take time management. Again, notice how all the stuff I'm saying comes together. You're gonna time management, right? That's the piece there. Then you're gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna take, I don't know how many accounts you have, but let's say I'm gonna take 50 accounts, no, 25 accounts for the month. And I'm a hyper focus on doing research and being thoughtful with these 25 accounts. And then you're gonna do what your manager says. And you are gonna take these 25 accounts, do hyper personalization, LinkedIn messages, videos, etc. And you're gonna run an A/B test to be like, hey, I ran this for 3 months. I did 25 quality accounts. I converted at, like, I'm just making numbers up, 40%. When I do your mandatory KPIs, I'm converting at 10%. I'm getting more meetings. I'm more thoughtful. I'm wasting less accounts. The pipeline sizes are bigger. And I want to present this to you to say, hey, we could run these mandatory KPIs, but based on what I'm doing, it would be more efficient and effective if we did it my way. What do you think? See, the thing is, what most people go wrong is they're like, I don't want to do the mandatory KPIs. This isn't for me. I don't want to do this. Oh, yeah, I'm angry, right? Like, no, that's a quick way to put yourself in a bad spot. What you want to do is keep it super simple. Be like, hey, look, I'm just going to do it myself. I'm going to prove that this works. And then I'm going to go to the management team and say, I did both of these things. I did both of these things. I did my own thing. I did your thing. My thing has produced this. Your thing has produced this. I did them with 100% intent on both. What should we do moving forward? You have the data. Y'all, data and numbers talk. So if you do that, that's how you're going to be able to win. That's how you're going to be able to stand out. Still do what you need to do. Does it require a little bit of work? Yeah, sure. But at the end of the day, like, you're going to prove that it legitimately actually works. This is the thing. Don't go into a situation. This is just life advice. Don't go to a situation like, oh yeah, like, I think this is better. I think this is better. Okay, like, cool, but like, have you tried to A/B test it and then come with your claim? Don't be like, oh, this sucks, I'm not gonna do it. Well, okay, just do both and then show, like, this is a better way. That's just what you should do, right? Don't get in a tizzy about it. So there's that. And we got our boy here.
Okay.
Little John liked it. So hopefully y'all liked it. So I think we're right at time, but I think there could be another question that I missed. Look, if I missed your question, Omar, monetize a software, like, that's a completely different scenario. Like, Omar, a lot of the things that I do is because I've spent years building a brand, which allows me to do certain things. And that's a whole different conversation that we currently do not have time for. But majority of this stuff is because of building the brand overall, which allows you leverage to do things that others might not be able to do. That's just the name of the game. That's why I started doing it in 2016. It's just seeing that, like, okay, if you build a brand and you have exposure, you can do certain things. You have access to things that others do not. It's just the way that it is. And I could pull up multiple examples on that. Okay, I think I've actually answered every single question. No, I didn't. I didn't answer a question. No, I didn't. I didn't answer this one. Okay. I think this might be the only one I did not answer. But here's the thing, y'all. I'm literally scrolling through. And if I missed your question, I missed 2 questions. I'm going to answer these questions. Okay. SDR need to get into leadership. And in this question, I think this will answer majority of these questions. And if not, I will go back and do it. Okay. All right. How can SDRs help work out closely with customer success? I don't have like a playbook on this, or I'm not like I'm the person that's going to tell you. But what I will tell you, right? What I will tell you is create a spreadsheet. Track me on this one. This is the one thing I did do, and it was very beneficial. Create a spreadsheet. I know work. Oh, y'all work. Oh no, Morgan's telling us to work again. You gotta work in order for it to work, right? Create a spreadsheet, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna break buyers down by the industries, and you're gonna be like, okay, we have cyber security, we have manufacturing, we have mechanical, we have like marketing or whatever, right? So we have all those things. Cool, great, whatever. So what you're gonna do now is talk to the CSMs to be like, what are some case studies we can gather in these industries so that now you have better emails and better cold calls moving forward. That would be probably one of the things that you could do to work closely with them. Looks like we have another comment in here as well. I'm going to add this because like I don't have too much insight on this. I want to stay in my lane here, but I think this is good too. Get their feedback and learn. It'll make you a better SDR. Learn about what's going on. Product knowledge. I think that's another good answer as well. So some good stuff. I'm going to answer one more question because I do got to get out of here. But if you did ask a question, I will go back. And the other one was on leadership. So when you're thinking about leadership, right? When you're doing this, you have to already assume that you are a leader. Leadership is an action, not a title.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
I don't think y'all are hearing me today. Leadership is an action. It's not a title. It's not just a title. So what does that mean? As an SDR, go be a leader. So proactively go help your team members. See how you can help colleagues and if they're struggling. Provide feedback. Ask to be a peer lead coach, right? Be proactive with your leader to get opportunities to go lead, and then just lead as a byproduct. And people will just start talking. Yo, Sally's just leading. I don't even know. Sally just helped me out with this cold call. Sally just reviewed this email with me. Sally just sent a video and explained how to do this thing in sales now. You have to take the action of leadership to be considered a leader. But you don't need the title. There are a lot of people who have leadership titles that are not leaders. It's an action. So to become a leader as an SDR, start leading, and people will notice that you should go be that thing. And I'm speaking from experience. I was an SDR, youngest on the team, ended up being an SDR manager, had the most reps on my team at 13 reps. And I just was proactively showing that I was a leader to the team to become a leader for the team. And that's how you do it. All right, y'all. Look, this is a crazy, y'all, this is a crazy first episode. Lots of questions. Good to see some familiar faces back. We have some new faces back. And let us know. How did you feel about the show? Was it exciting? Some things that we can consider next time. I'm always open to feedback. If you want to give me feedback, please, guys, please. It's just like, I'm begging, please. DM me feedback, all right? DM me feedback if you have any feedback on what we should do. I have a couple of exciting things that we did not do in season 1. We will just start with Q&A, but I have some things that are coming that were not in season 1 that I'm excited to do. That will be some pretty crazy stuff. So hopefully you all enjoyed the show. Hopefully it was impactful. Let me know on the feedback, how everyone was feeling. And also as well, DM me your feedback. If I missed your question, you can DM me across the board. Omar, I see your question. That is a very elaborate question because there's a lot of questions you have to ask yourself. You have to ask yourself, why do you want to build a brand? What's the purpose of building your brand? How long do you want to do it? What platform? What delivery mechanism? You have to ask yourself these questions to figure out what it is. Now, I have a LinkedIn Learning course. I could send it to you, DM it to you. You can watch it. It will answer all your questions instead of me going through this entire thing. It will literally answer every question you have if you have LinkedIn Learning, and it's all there. But essentially, it's about being consistent. It's about knowing what you want to be known for, and then understanding who your audience is and addressing their pain points through content in different ways. Live, like I'm doing now, standalone video, text posts, threads, etc. Those are ways to do it. So again, hopefully everyone enjoyed this. I know people have to hop to meetings. I know other things they got to do. Shout out to people who turn international. I respect you and love you the most because you could have been at the pub, but you were here. So appreciate everybody. Have a blessed weekend. We'll see you next week. Cheers.